Hello, Tim from Fair Play now on the 6th of January 2022, and it's my first day back at work. I had a couple of extra days off to just do a few bits and pieces, including a bit of spring cleaning actually. Early January is probably a bit too early for spring cleaning, but some bits needed doing really. So it's not like I'm kind of a total clean freak, but I do like things to be nice and clean and tidy, sort of in here as much as I can, being a working vehicle, and definitely at home. So I had the old vacuum cleaner and bits and pieces out and getting that sorted out. But I'm just wondering, I think I'm going to be one of the uncleanest people, because I think we are developing a nation of absolute clean fanatics, cleanliness fanatics, kind of going forward. I think this sort of nonsense has just done so much damage that psychologically, that I don't think the old muzzles will ever disappear. And I don't think this obsession for washing hands or sort of sanitizing hands everywhere you go will be disappearing anytime soon. And I think people will be kind of cleanliness fanatics for many years to come. I think that's just one of the things. It's probably going to have some of its plus points and obviously some bad points. And on the plus side, in the UK has never been kind of the cleanest of countries. You know, I used to go into pubs, and not very often there'd be sort of dirty glasses, even when they're supposedly clean. You'd get sort of dirty glasses, dirty cutlery if you're eating. Toilets would normally be quite grim, especially in the gents. You'd often be walking in there and treading in sort of whittle, you know, not the most pleasant thing. And that'd be in kind of fairly respectable looking places as well, let alone your kind of dives. And at least all of that kind of thing has improved in the last couple of years, so that is perhaps a benefit. But speaking of kind of what we've got to put up with now, Lorraine and I were having quite an interesting little conversation last night. Lorraine being my wife, if you don't know, if you're fairly new here. And we were saying that, you know, you go into the shops, and obviously not me and probably not you, but you get all your sort of muzzle wearers, and you can kind of tell the ones who are fanatical about it and the ones who aren't so bothered, because the fanatical ones are obviously got them on properly, like that, almost right up to the eyes. But the ones who aren't so into it, like that, aren't they, with their nose exposed? And I reckon, well, Lorraine and I were sort of saying that we reckon it's people who aren't with the agenda, and they are kind of just kind of showing their little bit of a protest there. They're not brave enough to do what we do and just sort of go in there totally muzzle free, but they are sort of doing that just to give their little bit of a protest. And I kind of made the comment to Lorraine that the nose has become the new FOF. Now, if you don't know what FOF is, you probably do, but if you don't, especially if you're international, the first letter there, FOF, the first one, stands for a certain swear word that starts with F, and the second two letters stand for off finger. So it kind of refers to a certain hand gesture. And I said to Lorraine, I think the nose, as far as these people are concerned, is the new FOF. So it's just their little way of telling the kind of powers that shouldn't be, the system and the nonsense and the government, where to get off. So I think that's another sign that the narrative is collapsing. A lot of people sort of seem to think that the whole Lurgy narrative is going to collapse, and it is getting ridiculous. And the latest headlines are trying to sort of make out that there's just massive amounts of sort of things that rhyme with faces that start with C, especially in the London area. The sort of big places that start with H, where you go if you're poorly, they're getting overrun. And is anyone actually buying that anymore? When we see headlines like that, does anyone actually believe it anymore? I don't think so, and I think it is getting near to collapsing. Apparently they're not going to be doing the Papa Charlie Romeo test anymore. I think I saw Johnson saying that, probably because the American NIH, I think it is, or CDC, one of those two, said that they're not doing it anymore because of inaccuracies in that test. So that's probably why they've decided to drop it. But of course they've just sort of said some sort of nonsense that they're just dropping it, for whatever reason. And they've also dropped testing. Pre-departure tests have been dropped, I've noticed. And whether that goes for sort of likes of us, the unV'd, I don't know, but even the V'd had to do those if they're flying off anywhere, so they're being dropped. And the most laughable one was old Sturgeon, Nicola Sturgeon, up in Scotland there, Scottish First Minister. She said something like, the restrictions won't stop you from getting the O scariants. So she's admitting that the measures are useless, in other words. But she then went on to say, pretty much in the same breath, it's important to keep on doing the restrictions though. So can these people even hear themselves speaking, and can they tell just how nonsensical they are? So I think many people have seen through that one. Thank you, Nicola. So I think your whole silly narrative is falling apart by the day. Anyway, I'll most likely be back later. If not, I'll certainly be back tomorrow, going to the stand in the pub that we have here tonight. So looking forward to seeing all of my kind of fellow stand in the parkers, stand in the pubbers, and no doubt we'll be having a few laughs and a bit of a chat about the latest nonsense. Tim from Fair Play Now, thanks for watching.